Okay, so first rule of Turkey Club. Thaw the turkey before you deep fry it.
I think it will, in fact, explode if you don't do it right.
I feel
So
like
what you're
that's the
saying
story
is
of
we need to
D&D5E.
incorporate this into a damaging attack in this game. Who can freeze a vulture?
The vultures helped you last session. What have you done against the vultures?
No, they're fine. They're fine.
Why the fuck are you trying to blow them up then?
Because it's an interesting idea in my head now.
Awesome.
Step 1, cast grease.
Like, Cristona wouldn't do it. I'm thinking of some ways to do it.
Cast fire. Step 3, cast ray of frost. 4, throw the frozen bird into the heated up grease.
So if Cristona dies, I make a wizard. It'd be like Taco from Adventure Zone, but how to make, like, the best deep-fried explosive.
Your spellbook could just be a cookbook.
Yeah!
Or if you're doing that, I'm bringing on my battle-bred dwarf concept.
Like, literally battle bread?
Literally
No.
battle-bred.
Sweet.
Like, he's going to throw a roll at you, and it's going to do several dice of damage.
That's a really stale rule.
Dwarf bread.
All in favor of ditching this game and making a being one shot?
I'm pretty sure I've seen this indie game. It's kind of like Iron Chef, but
Except literally iron.
except you actually have to like
Battle
fight
Bread is
the
very
things and get the ingredients by destroying the
Seen
monsters.
the one shot to save Flavortown from the
God damn it!
Yes!
Guy Fieri monster.
The
It was
Lord
like an
Fieri.
actual one shot online. I don't remember any of the details though.
I think I've seen it actually. Yeah, okay, that's something we absolutely have to do at some point.
Yes,
That
Battle
would be a good
Chefs. Let's do
Thanksgiving
this.
one shot.
Guy Fieri did do nothing wrong.
You keep telling him that.
He hasn't been caught yet. How about that?
So far, he's only wanted to show people delicious food. He hasn't gotten an actual scandal.
Non-violence?
Nice.
I got like
fuck?
100 points for this concept.
Yo.
I have not yet begun to dad joke.
Fucking hell.
That's
That
so
sounds like a really
great.
great pacifist monk for this group. Indian inspired.
I have to come up with a creative way to misunderstand the concept of pacifist.
You could do like Balin did.
Instead of be a pacifist, be a pacifist?
There we go.
You literally wrap your fist in pasta.
Alright,
This is happening.
this may or may not actually happen in December now. I'm very sold on this idea. All those in favor say aye.
Yes.
I'll be out for most of the weeks of December, I think.
Right. Okay. Maybe January then.
I'm in.
Alright. I wouldn't want anybody to miss out on saving Flavor Town. Oh. Alright.
It's gonna be one of those nights.
Yeah. I put so much time into tonight too, but it's gonna be one of those nights, and I am okay with that.
Hooray!
Alrighty.
It's the warlocks. They really like bagels.
Alrighty. Shall we actually get on?
Yeah, let's get rolling.
All right. Quick recap from last week, please.
A good question. Shit, what happened?
We went to visit the settlers of Kultan.
Ah, yes.
Yes, the settlers of Catan. Can't believe I didn't see that coming before you guys actually went. In hindsight, it's very obvious. But yes, you went to the settlement of Khotan, chilled there for a bit, and then you went into the desert to the ruined city of Bukhari, and you were wondering about it some.
Why did we not buy horses and not name them? Damn it.
No, you didn't buy horses. It's like less than a day's walk to the actual city from Catan.
We need no named horses in the desert.
Can't you, like, summon some? You're a druid. You could turn into one.
That would be a horse, and it would also be a fungal horse, which would be weird.
That'd be amazing. I think I've seen that persona.
Yeah, probably. Anyway, we're going deeper into the ruins to try to find the cult, I believe.
We thought they were on. Basically, we thought they were on the other side of the ruins from the direction we were coming from, but we want to approach inconspicuously, so we're like poking around. That's what I recall.
Okay.
So you're crossing the island like that. Bauer had just found a curious mural of a man with a very fancy hat and very nice clothes, presenting another fellow who's very tall, gangly, and completely in white and black, with a city in a. There is a pedestal in front of the mural.
Hmm. I'm assuming there's nothing on the pedestal. You would have mentioned it.
Nope.
Is there like an indentation or anything that indicates something should be there?
There is like a slight indent on the top of it, yes. It's flat and circular.
Okay, so she can have the horse with no name.
Yeah, I don't. obviously there's something we're supposed to put on this pedestal to open the door to go into the next chamber. But I'm not seeing anything on my character sheet or recalling anything that would be the right choice.
Just gonna look around for something that might work.
Make a perception check. You dig through the sand. You're looking for something that might fit this. You do find several small little archaeological trinkets. Call them around 50 gold value total. But you do not find anything that looks like it would fit this pet.
Just immediately starts like fumbling with them, fidgeting. Like, how big is this pedestal?
Maybe 2-3. The indent in it is about 2-3 inches across. So the pedestal's slightly.
Yeah, looking through stuff. What would work here? So it's 2 people. Like, statue is like statue of 2 people, and one's giving the other.
It's a mural,
Oh, mural.
not statue.
Giving the other one a city and a little thing.
City in a bottle. Yep.
Anyone find any bottles?
I have my empty potion of fire breath.
I'm sure there's some back in the inn. I don't think they have cities in them, though.
Just don't idly set down the empty potion of fire breath on the pedestal. It's a bottle.
It is a bottle. It doesn't quite fit right though. After a second or two, the bottle pops off of the pedestal and floats into the air.
Huh.
I'm just watching it and tilting head. Curious. We do not have any other bottles.
Do you want somebody to catch that one?
Oh yeah, it's floating stationary in the air. You can.
Oh, okay.
Oh. And just like poke at it slightly and then you can take it.
It is very easy to take. You pick it back up without it.
We investigate the mural more to see if we can get more information from it.
Sure. Investigate it how? Like, do you just want to look at it more closely, or?
Yeah, look for any clues that might be on it, or anything that looks like it could be a clue.
Sure. Make an investigation check. Interesting idea, Diggeroy. Make an investigation check as well. So, Christona, you looking very closely at the actual bottle itself. Excuse me. You notice that the spires in it look very familiar. They're exactly the kind of spire. They look a lot like this. They're exactly the kind of spire that you would have seen as you were coming into the city. You get the impression that the man with the funny hat and the jeweled clothes is offering the bottle, specifically to this fellow in the black and white.
And so it looks like the city is inside the bottle.
Indeed.
Are the two figures supposed to represent anybody in particular? One of the gods?
Make history or religion checks. To nobody that you recognize offhand.
Well,
Not even gonna try.
So Diggeroy and Bauer, actually, you've both been through this part of the world before. You recognize the man with the fancy hat as likely one of the old rulers of this area. He's got this right ceremonial garb and stuff, same as the current rulers of the island do, of Bukhari, the island as a whole do. But they look a lot older than the ones that are currently in use, and a lot less ragged. You do not know who this very pale fellow in all black is, who's being offered a city in a box. Christona, Diggeroy, you're the one who's looking around for other murals. Diggeroy, you're digging around for other murals. You find another mural showing the ruler throwing what looks like a glass orb off of a roof after brushing away some sand. Just next to it, you find a second mural showing the man, the very pale man in all black, catching the orb just before it hits ground.
Okay. Can I tell the order of the pictures? Because this appears to be sequential art, but I don't know if it's from left to right or right to left.
You can infer that the throwing of the orb happens before the catching of it. And then afterwards is the offering of the bottle.
And the bottle's being offered to the Pale Man?
Yes.
We do not understand explaining things so vaguely.
Now, presumably, whoever's normally looking at this would already know the story if they lived in the city.
Should we have asked for a guide?
If there's a guide who knows the history well.
You can definitely head back and look for some kind of guide, yes. It will mean you lose a couple days or a day or two on hunting cultists.
Yeah, I mean, this is interesting and all, but doesn't seem to
Yeah.
be that important.
Yeah.
Keep an eye out for bottles.
Bottles or orbs.
Especially if they have cities in them.
Well, check for cities whenever you find a bottle. Put it that way. Before you drink it.
That would be odd. You cannot drink solid city.
That is
Magic.
You cannot.
I mean, have you ever tried?
If I
Wait.
said yes, would you believe me?
In character? Probably.
That's the spirit.
I'm sure Bauer has. A genie. No, a city.
Well, if you find a genie in a bottle, let us know.
Yeah, I totally will let you know and not just wish some.
If you find it, let
So-
Christina let her out.
We aren't looking for like a city in a bottle like this, are we? As he pulls something from his. It's apparently a thing I've had for a while now.
Wait, you actually
Link,
have a
really?
city in a bottle?
Yes.
Okay.
I have been sitting here for 20 minutes.
obvious question. Did you ever try to drink it?
No. I feel
Sound
like I should
confident.
have though.
Seems like a missed opportunity now.
Anyway, put it on the pedestal. Let's see what explodes.
Would you like to put it on the pedestal, Power?
Yes, and if it doesn't do anything, then I'll try drinking.
You can't just drink away all your problems.
It's
I
a
can
really
try.
good vintage city.
As cities go, it probably would be. All right.
Wow.
Yeah. So you set your city in a bottle. You set your city in a bottle down on this pedestal. And it is not popped back up like the other one. Instead, there's a faint chunk. God damn it, guys. Instead, there's a faint chunk as something depresses in the pedestal. And you hear the grinding of stone from in front of you as the mural rises up to reveal a tunnel behind it.
All right.
Huh.
I think we should look into this.
Yeah. What happens if you take the bottle away from the pedestal?
If you take it off, then the tunnel slowly closes. It gives plenty of time for people to go under it, but it slowly
Yeah.
finds it.
I think we might want to take the bottle with us.
Yeah. It does create the possibility of we'll need to find another way out.
Yeah, but I mean, if we just leave it here, there's a lot of people
Yeah, I'm sure we
combing
already
the
have
area
a
looking
small
for
audience.
treasure. There's a decent chance somebody will come by and just snag the bottle anyway,
That's a good point.
unless we leave somebody behind.
Yeah, take the bottle.
All right.
Holy moly.
Holy moly.
I completely forgot I had the thing.
I figured you did. I was wondering if you were going to realize before or after you guys left this. All right. So you, with some grinding of stone, the wall opens up once more for you guys to enter inside, and one of you picks it up, takes it inside. And the wall closes on you into darkness. After a moment, though, it's illuminated with a faint yellow light. It's not bright, but it gives you enough to see by. It leads you towards a set of spiral stairs leading down.
Heading down.
Yeah, I guess I can take point and scout ahead.
Alrighty. So you scout ahead down the. Humor me. Roll me a stealth check. All right. So you wind your way down the staircase ahead of everybody else. You eventually come out into an underground, somewhat lit cavern. It is filled with a lot of sand, but underneath the sand you can feel the remnants of a stone road beneath your feet. Ahead of you there is a single fellow who looks to be standing very still, looking towards a wooden door built into what looks like a stone castle wall.
He's just standing there.
Looks that way, yeah.
Okay. I'll wait for the rest to catch up. Just kind of like motion towards him. Like, fuck is this?
Is he alive?
He doesn't look dead. He's just standing there very stilly.
Hypnosis trap?
Is he staring in any particular direction that we may want to look?
He's just looking ahead. He's looking towards the door.
Should we go
walk up
poke
closer to
him?
him.
Poke carefully, though.
Yeah. Just carefully, slowly walk closer. Get like, I don't know, maybe 10 feet away.
To the
See if
door?
I can see anything more. No, 10 feet away from him. See if I can notice anything about him.
Okay. You make a quick perception check. Okay. You notice a faint, almost a blurring around the edges of him. He's still completely stationary, but it looks like there's some blurring around the edges of almost a bubble around.
I pull out my magically expanding 10-foot pole and try to poke him with it.
All right. Probably a better idea than trying to poke him yourself. This does raise a very interesting physics question, though, which I'm just going to resolve arbitrarily. You poke him. Suddenly, as you enter within the shimmering bounds of the bubble, there is suddenly a great deal of resistance on your 10-foot pole as you poke into it. There's slightly more when you actually poke him. And when you try to pull it back out, there is significantly more resistance, to the point where when you pull it back out, part of your 10-foot pole actually separates from the rest. It looks as if it was pulled apart.
So, trap.
And this is why we use 10-foot poles. Well, I guess 9-foot, 10-inch pole.
9'11", but who's counting?
You are, apparently.
I mean, yeah.
Hush,
The ball. Anyhow.
And potentially scout around and see if there's anything that would have triggered magic like that.
Sure. Make a quick investigation check. Investigation or perception.
Also, if anybody's more Arcana inclined, you figure out what the hell exactly this is.
Good idea.
I'll try.
Right.
Yeah, because I don't think I.
No idea.
Well, at least I'm not that bad with it.
Yeah, you have no clue. Figure you have no clue. Hmm. Well, Sudoku might have heard something about this. Yeah. It looks kind of like some sort of chronomancy effect.
That's kind of what I figured.
Almost looks like he's just been stopped in time.
Is it focused completely on him, or is it like an effect as you approach the door? I will scout out with my 9-foot 11-inch pole if needed.
Well, Christona sees no traps or any markings of any kind to indicate it would be an actual trap still. And as you poke around with your 10-foot pole, you don't feel any resistance, or at least any resistance of the same kind that you felt when you poked into the time bubble.
Well, I guess my suggestion is just give him a bit of a wide berth and continue on around him. Unless somebody else has any other way to investigate him. I could cast Identify, but I gotta touch him to do that, and I don't really feel like
Yeah, no, that's not
losing
good.
parts of my hand.
You'll live. Now, I want to know what triggered the trap to happen on him, because it didn't just happen randomly on him, I don't think.
Might not
Is he
necessarily have
holding
been
anything?
a trap.
An attack.
Yeah, I mean, like, something could have actively done this to him instead of
Well,
reacting.
we'd want to know about that, too.
He's holding like a little hammer. But
Question, are there any
nothing.
other like footprints or anything like that around here? Like anyone's gone past him? Besides Snoke.
No, there are no other footprints around here. Besides, I guess, what ones you guys have brought in with you.
From the style of his clothing and the items on him, can we determine how long he's been here, roughly?
History check. He's been here a while. 1,000+ years. A long time.
We could dispel, but not now. Need time.
Well, like I said, I think our best option at the moment is just to continue on and be careful.
But now that eyes are open.
Yeah, I'm going to take a look at the door. Does it have like runes carved around it? Or anything else suggesting it's enchanted?
No, it just it looks like a. I mean, it's a reasonably heavy door, but there's nothing to suggest that it's magical.
I poke it with the rod.
You poke it with the rod, and it sure feels like a door.
Well,
Is it locked?
yeah, I'll try to open it.
I mean, it's not locked. It opens. It opens. It takes a bit of a push to get it to open, but it squeaks open as you push it. Hinges haven't been oiled for a long time. Sounds like.
Okay. What's on
Alright.
the other side?
Yeah.
So you proceed inwards into a further expression of some ruins underground. There's a soft blue light coming from the bottom of a chasm ahead of you, across which is a single narrow bridge. Most of this place looks as if it's become mossy or slightly fallen to ruin. There are no immediate signs of human habitation.
Can we
Sounds
hear
good. Check out the
anything?
moss.
Can you hear anything?
That's the question, yes.
There is a slight hissing noise from inside the chasm. There is not. There's no ambient noise besides that.
Is the hissing noise constant?
Yes.
Someone left the gas on.
More accurate than you'd think.
Nobody light a cigarette.
It doesn't smell like gas.
No.
Wow.
Assuming,
Normally have a
assuming any of you know what gas smells like.
Well, sulfur.
Yeah, that's true. No, it doesn't smell like sulfur.
Gas does smell a lot like lamp oil, too.
True. But no, you don't smell anything.
I peek down the chasm, see if you can see anything down there.
Not for nothing, inspecting the moss is probably a good idea, too. You could probably derive some useful information from it.
Oh yeah. Definitely check on the moss. Distant cousins.
So you poke, you look, you walk over to the chasm. Well, as you're walking over to the chasm, you begin to feel slightly lighter as you're heading over. And as you look into the chasm, you see portals at the bottom of it. One of which opens into what looks like a jet black void. And as you move closer and closer to it, it sounds like that's where the hissing is coming from. There is another one that opens to a view of the room from above. And if you look above you, you'll see that there is, in fact, another portal stuck to the ceiling of this room.
Now we're thinking with portals.
And there is a ceiling of the room is about 100 feet above you, just by the way. And there are a few others that lead out into random locations with stonework, it looks like. You can't see any other exit portals.
This is a very confusing room. Just like staring unblinkingly at like the dark void. Trying to like see anything in it just for a little bit longer than would be not awkward.
Don't stare too deeply into the abyss. Abyss stares back into you.
The abyss rolls perception.
Very deep.
How does an abyss have eyes?
Doesn't matter as long as you cast magic missile at it.
Where did that voice come from? I said it felt lighter over there. Like
You feel lighter.
How many portals were there again?
7. 1 to the void, 1 to the ceiling, and 5 to indeterminate stony places. They look similar type stonework and similar moss coverage as the rest of it, moss and fungus coverage as the rest of it in here. So
definitely want to go check out the fungus and the moss. Try to get some stuff from it. Say hello to the cousins.
Seems like the one to the void might have gone to an actual location at some point. Something happened to it.
It's possible. Or what the happened might have been, it might have been built wrong. And instead of going to a place, it went to a void.
Maybe. That doesn't seem like the kind of thing you would leave like up though. A portal to the void.
Not if you had a choice in the matter.
So, Christona, you're checking out the moss and fungi around here. All right. So, moss and fungi around here. They're very. I'm trying to think of a way to explain this without sounding like a total fucking nerd. So, like, they're very late stage. Like, they're the sort of moss and fungus that you don't get in an area that's not like in any sort of new growth area. They're very old growth, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
They're ecologically, they're the sort of they're these sort of organisms that are like, they're not good colonizers, but they're good competitors. So they don't move. So they do very well in ecosystems that have been undisturbed for a very long time. They tend to compete out all other species.
These are elders of this place.
Yeah.
Wish I'd speak with plants and fungus.
You wanna? Do you have it?
No, I think that's like that's a higher level spell, I think.
I don't think it is, but I mean, if you don't have it prepared, it doesn't really matter.
Oh.
Like, I think it's only second
It
or
didn't
third.
show up in my. I was making my list.
Oh yeah, no, it's only third level. You can cast it if you want.
Oh, there it was. I did put it in the list. Shit, I forgot about that. Nope, I don't have it prepped.
Speak with plants not a ritual. Oh damn, it's not a ritual.
Nope.
I don't think druids have ritual casting anyway.
They only have ritual casting if they have the spell prepared.
Right.
That makes it pretty much not a ritual, right?
Yeah.
No, you wouldn't use the slot.
Yeah.
Everybody
okay.
but paladins, rangers, and warlocks have ritual casting. Maybe not sorcerers, but bards do. It's just I have to know the spell, and for druids and clerics, you have to have it prepared. Wizards are the ones who don't have to work at it.
Mm-hmm.
Regardless, I don't think playing with portals is the best idea at the moment.
Is there any other direction to go?
Over the bridge.
Just over the bridge.
Okay, let's at least explore the other side of the bridge.
Alright. As you're walking towards the bridge, you begin to feel lighter and lighter until your feet eventually begin to leave the ground a little bit as you are pulled upwards.
Is this related to the portal in the ceiling, or is it something else?
Something else. Who's in front? Still Sadok?
Probably.
Yeah, Sadok, you're slowly floating off into the air.
I reach out the 9-foot, 11-inch pole towards Bauer, or whoever else is immediately behind me, so that they can grab on and pull me back to ground.
All right, but just this once.
I'll touch your pole just this once.
I'll save you from the gravity trap, but just this one.
And then pull out some rope, tie one end around myself.
Alright.
Find somewhere to secure the other end, I guess.
There's a couple rocks sitting around the edge of the bridge. You can try one of those.
Yeah. So yeah, secure it there. Ask Bauer and Diggeroy to stay with that end, possibly to pull me back if needed. Let's try this again.
Alright. So you continue walking. Or do you walk? Do you run?
So I think when I get back to about the point where I started leaving the ground completely, get down on my hands and knees and start like crawling / climbing forward.
Alright. Alright. Okay. So that works for a little bit. Make me an athletics check.
Yeah, quick prayer under my breath for guidance.
Sure. Yeah. So as you're proceeding across the bridge, the gravity eventually converts to the same as normal, but in the complete opposite direction.
You mean upwards?
Yes.
Ooh.
Okay.
Full upwards. So, you are essentially trying to climb upside down across this bridge with shitty handholds.
How far did I get across the bridge before that happened? Like halfway?
Yeah, sure, halfway. 20-foot long bridge. Call it 10 feet. Call it, you made it 10 feet across. But so you are now dangling in the air, supported only by your rope to keep from falling to the ceiling.
How far is the ceiling from the floor?
100 feet high ceiling.
I'm looking at my inventory and my spells to see if there's anything I can do here. This is annoying.
Like, I might be able to knock you to the other side, but it might hurt a bit.
Knock me to the other side with what?
I have Featherfall.
Thunderwave.
Yeah, how about you guys pull me back, and we can try this again with Diggeroy and his Featherfall instead of me.
I can target you with a Featherfall.
Don't you need to touch, though?
60 feet.
Ah,
Yes, if a bunch of people are falling at once, you can't touch them all.
gotcha. Well, let me think. I've also got this magic bar I could fashion a grappling hook out of, attach it to another length of rope, and try to pull myself.
That would, at the very least,
Rod?
advantage. Probably lower the DC on it, too.
Yeah, let me try that before we try messing about with Featherfall. So yeah, use the magic bar, turn it into a grappling hook, attach it to another length of rope, and
All right.
try to find another place across the bridge. I imagine it would take me a couple of tries as I figure out the gravity situation.
Yes, that would make it rather difficult. Eventually, you figure out that you just have to throw it really hard, so it can get across the whole thing before, so that it can get across the whole field of weird gravity before it gets pulled up too far. And so it takes you several minutes of trial and error to master this well enough to get a grappling hook across and get like a good hook on. But you can try. Yeah, sure. It'll stay on as you go across. Make an athletics check to not fail the climb with advantage. An 11 is, oh, well, okay. That's good enough. So you make it across There is a brief moment of terror when you think you're going to lose your grip, but you manage to hold on and make it across.
Yeah, I mean, I've still got the rope that's attached to the other end, so not
Exactly.
Yeah, and then I guess once I'm across, I'll tie my end of the rope to another rock or pillar or something.
All right. So you tie your end of the rope off onto, well, actually, there's not really anything good for you to tie off on close to that end, to that side.
I will turn my magic bar into a spike.
Magic bar is once every 8 hours.
Is it? Ah, damn.
Oh, no, it's concentrating. Oh, yeah, nope. I misread the 8 inches. I misread the 8 in the inches and ounces as hours.
Yeah.
Nope, never mind. It is reshape it as much as you like.
Yeah, just transform it into a spike, drive it into the ground, have the tip of the spike branch out a little bit once it's in there to better secure itself,
All right,
and tie the rope to that.
good thinking. And well, I guess the other end of the rope
Hold
is
a bit
back
around the rope.
everybody else. So yeah, you guys now have a pathway across this gravity fucky bridge.
Well, sort of.
Kind of.
I mean, it'll help.
So yeah, who wants to go across first?
I'll go.
You might want to tie some rope around yourself, like I did.
Probably, yeah.
And then whoever goes next can use that rope to help pull themselves across, along with the maybe.
We're gonna
2
do it.
ropes would be easier.
Mhm.
Or we could, once you get across, you untie it from yourself. We tie it to my spike, and then whoever comes next ties that end around themselves. That way we use the same rope for 2 people and keep it with us.
Right.
Sure.
Does Bauer plummet to his doom?
He does not. You all have a very strange sensation, though, after Sadok uses the magic bar the second time. All of your weapons briefly become ethereal. And they reappear less than a minute later.
Magic and non-magic weapons?
Magic and non-magic.
But just weapons.
Just weapons.
There are many ghosts here. They like to tap you and take your things, apparently.
I'd forgotten about the tapping thing.
Yeah, this place is a bit unsettling.
Kristona's just talking about about unsettling things while not really blinking very much.
She would know.
That's the spirit.
Let's just continue over as best as possible.
Yeah, you all make your way across relatively easily. You continue through the city. The same ruined old stonework follows all around you. Same moss, same quiet. As you move away from the portals and their, especially the one to the void, the hiss fades, leaving you with just quiet around you. Occasionally, you'll spot another portal that looks like it's leading to somewhere else within the city. Where exactly, you cannot tell. But following this road, eventually you come to an enormous set of wooden doors, 20 feet tall and paired. In the center of them, there is an enormous knocker.
Poke the door with my 9-foot 11-inch pole.
It feels like wood.
Phrasing. Are we still
Gotta
doing
make
that?
it sound trapped. So, was that Bauer?
I was just making a phrasing joke.
Ah. Fair.
Yeah. There.
Let's go try
Gotta
and
make
come up
sure
with
it
something
feels
for
like wood.
knocker, but yes, his pole feels like wood. It's just the one knocker, though.
But it's a giant knocker.
That's what matters. Is there any kind of writing or decoration on the door?
The door is yes, actually. The door has several. The door has several lines of text inscribed in it above the knocker, along with a short few characters on the actual knocker itself. I don't think any of you can read them, though. Nope.
Which would cover other elemental languages, but
Nope. If any of you have taken it, I will be very surprised. Nope.
All right, come on, Bauer. Amaze us with what languages you know. We have an incredibly good array here.
You do have a very good array of languages, actually. I'm honestly surprised.
I know Common.
Common and Elvish are the only two that are
Kinda,
repeated.
sorta.
And Draconic.
You know Common and Undercommon?
Undercommon is Draconic now?
Oh, I heard Undercommon, sorry.
Cristona has Undercommon.
Yeah.
No,
we have a really good array.
You do. Unfortunately, none of them are this one.
Can any of us at least recognize the
The
alphabet?
script?
Obviously we can't read it, but could we recognize what language it is, or at least what family of languages?
God, where does linguistics fall in the family of knowledge checks?
I would put it under history.
Yeah, probably fair. We're all history, guys.
Well, I mean, I was also just thinking, if any of the, because I mean, for example, Common and Dwarvish use the same alphabet, if I remember correctly.
There's only 5 or 6 alphabets.
Yeah.
In traditional lore.
Well, I think that also.
But using the same alphabet is
I don't think that includes some of the more exotic ones, like Infernal or Abyssal.
Infernal, Celestial, and Abyssal share one. Or Abyssal might have its own. But Infernal, Celestial definitely share one. The Primordials are all the same, and they use the same as Giant, and that's really close to Dwarven. Undercommon is Elvish. Common is Halfling and a bunch of other ones. Yeah, it's when you get into Mind Flayers have their own alphabet and stuff, but
That deep
so
speech.
Sadok might know this. He knows a lot of languages.
Yeah. Sadok Sadok and Cristona both know 5 languages apparently, which is pretty 5 languages and none of them overlap between the two of you. That's pretty damn impressive.
We try.
I feel like we have very different focuses in our learning.
Yeah.
Almost certainly, yes.
That's why she speaks so slowly. She has to remember every single language.
Sadok, you motherfucker. You kind of sort of recognize the script as something you came across in studying for. You're not totally sure. You think it might be deep speech or some derivative thereof, but you don't know enough to read it. You probably know at least one person who does, though.
Well, that's mildly terrifying.
Deep speech is the language of
Mind
Mind
flayers and
flayers,
stuff.
beholders, and other aberrations.
Yeah.
okay.
Generally, aberrations.
Many things from the below world.
less the below world, more the outside world, other world.
The
There are
wrong
a
place.
lot of mind flayers, at least from what I've seen.
That's
in the
true.
book.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but they're not
Not
really
many. Not
Sure.
many nine players actually in this Underdark.
Ah, okay.
Just enough to be annoying.
Yeah, but none of
That's all you
like the
need.
major, none of the major cities that you guys would have that show up in like Forgotten Realms. A couple small outposts, but the other denizens of down below tend not to tend to take exception to their. Let's put it that way.
Well, they are terrible neighbors.
They do. They really do.
I don't suppose anybody has comprehend languages or anything like that.
Nah.
I have this
No.
bottle with the city in it. Does that help?
That
It did.
certainly helped many minutes after.
Ooh, I'm gonna try to drink it and see what happens.
Feel like you should not try to drink it.
You pop
We
the
still
cork
need
on
it as
you
key.
pop the cork on the bottle to the city and tilt it back, only to find that there is no liquid in it. And
Only
the city
tiny
itself,
screams.
the city itself does not come unstuck from the bottle.
Shit, what is the name of like the little people in like Horton? Oh, the Who's. You don't find Whoville.
You think you hear a slight scream as you tilt it back over your gaping maw.
This has gone full Men in Black.
I mean, I
Well-
guess just check the door for any mundane or magical traps as best we can.
Yeah.
Go for it. Perceptions all around. You do not find any traps, either magical or mundane.
Try to open it.
Yeah, let's open it up.
All right, I will go scout with my face.
All right, Bauer, you scout with your face so hard that your face slams the door open.
Yep, it's a solid door.
It
Not
sure
a
is.
burial.
You come into an enormous hall. You enter in. There are lines of columns on either side of a walkway, lined with statues. Far ahead of you on this walkway, you see a figure, two arms raised, standing very still. Behind him, the walkway ends. To the sides of it, there are chasms leading into the darkness. The pillars themselves and some small lamps carried by the statues light the room with a soft orange light.
The figure appeared to be frozen in a time bubble like the first one.
Once you get a bit closer, yes. You
That's
head
what I
down
figured.
the walkway towards him, and he is dressed in a very fancy, bejeweled set of clothes and a very nice hat. He is holding both.
Does he look familiar from a mural?
He does look familiar from a mural.
Damn.
Oh, hey, it's the guy.
He is holding both hands upright, frozen in time.
So
And
after,
behind him, you spot another pedestal. Upon it is an orb of glass.
Do we see any signs of the Pale Man?
You do not.
The first guy we came across wasn't particularly pale, was he?
No.
Feel like I'm not poking him with a stick, Bauer.
You don't
I
want to
already
touch
did
him.
that once. I don't want to lose another inch, okay?
You only have so many inches there.
You might want to try putting the bottle on the pedestal before you put it on him. We don't know.
Well, the orb is
There's
on
an
the
orb there.
pedestal.
Oh, is that the orb from the mural?
Take
The it sure looks like it. It's a clear glass orb, same one as was shown in the mural.
If I read the murals
This
correctly,
man-
if I remember, he tossed the orb out of the city. The Pale Man caught it and brought the city back?
You saw a mural of this man throwing the orb off a roof, and the Pale Man catching it just before it hit the ground.
And the other mural was the Pale Man being given the city in the bottle?
Yes, he is being offered it.
The orb is just clear glass?
That's what it looks like.
I want to poke the orb with the 9-foot 11-inch pole. Not enough to like knock it anywhere, but just touch it to see if it's trapped.
There are no traps on it. There are no traps on it that trigger when you poke the orb.
Okay. I'm gonna cast Identify on the orb.
One sec, I need to look up how Identify interacts with this.
Cool. Yeah, I guess I can cast this as a ritual. Nice.
Okay. I guess Identify does tell you at least something about what this is.
Sphere of Annihilation.
No. This is after 10 minutes of casting. This is the material focus for an imprisonment spell.
So somebody that's more smarter about Arcana, how does that work?
So an imprisonment spell, well, imprisonment is in the SRD if you want to look at them. But so imprisonment basically allows you to magically restrain or seal a being away, as long as you can both fulfill some conditions, find an appropriate focus for the way you want to seal them away, and can cast 9th level abjuration spells. It's in the SRD if you want the exact details of the spell.
Yeah,
but basically,
looking to do.
Important detail, if the focus is broken, is whatever released?
yes. So this is both focus and prison for more than one imprisonment spell. Something's bound a lot of somethings to this glass sphere.
I also wanted to identify on the city in a bottle.
Oh. It's I'm not totally sure what kind of magic the city in a bottle falls into. At least part of what's going on with it is masked from you. Your identify spell is,
That's
you
fair.
can tell, being confused by something. There's a hell of a lot of abjuration on it to make sure that it's not. You can only assume to make sure it's not broken. And there is some touch of chronomancy on it. You're not entirely sure what the purpose of it is, though.
Hmm. I mean, I feel like we shouldn't be messing around with the focus for an imprisonment spell without knowing what it's imprisoning.
I concur.
Yes.
Agreed.
I'm also disinclined to leave it because
Why is that?
Well, they now know how to get down here, and the cult came here looking for something. And cults definitely should not be entrusted with prisons.
Will moving it open it?
Good question.
It is a good question. I'm trying to decide if identify just means I'd have to give you more information about it. Oh, yeah, okay. Sadok, there are 9,009 imprisonment spells that use this as a focus. And prison.
That's a poetic number.
The fella who made it was a poetic fella.
Either that or you just had 9,009 enemies.
So it was a dick.
Is that number significant anywhere? Is that like a thing? Like
That sounds like the number that would appear in legends.
The what?
That's like a number that would appear in legends, yes.
It's one of those oddly specific numbers that shows up in legends, yes. Yes. Also, the rule of threes is a thing. 9 is 3 threes.
And 1,001 is potentially significant in and of itself.
It's a good shorthand for a fuckload.
Look at us, we numerologists now.
Yeah, can I tell if removing the orb from the pedestal will do anything?
There's nothing immediately suggesting that it will do anything. You poked it with a stick and it didn't do anything. Give me a quick perception checks just to look around the.
I'm gonna
Just
look for
going-
other murals and decorations on the wall that might give us more information.
All right.
Looks like I should
None
have
of you
looked at that.
spot anything else indicating traps on the pedestal. Diggeroy, you see a few more murals. You see at least one of the well-dressed man standing at the top of a tower, looking contemplative and sad. You spot another one of the well-dressed man and the pale man. It looks like they're going through some sort of market.
Market?
A market.
All right. So we're taking this thing with us.
I think
We-
we should just keep it out of enemy hands.
I will take it. We'll reach out and grab it.
All right. You pick it up. Make a charisma save real quick for me. As you pick up the orb, you feel a surge of hate and malice coming from it, from more than one thing inside it. There are no other ill effects, but you are briefly taken aback by how sudden and intense the surge is.
I will quickly wrap it in some cloths to try to distance myself from it a bit.
It becomes less intense as you're no longer directly touching it, but you can still feel the malice emanating from it as long as you're carrying it.
Yeah, I don't want to keep a hand on this. I'm gonna take this to the church once we're out of here.
All right.
Feel like they can lock it away somewhere and defend it better. Just
All right.
leaving it in the midst of the ruins.
John's gonna check out Fancy Man again. So he has his hands up. What is his expression?
He's smiling.
Like creepy smile or
Happy. Happy smile.
He imprisoned his 9,009 enemies.
He's gonna live forever and didn't think about how.
We are frustrated. We do not have the spell prepared for this yet.
You can stay. Nobody else has the bottle to get down in here.
Could possibly.
Assuming they can't use one of the portals.
Hmm.
But we can keep watch.
Could possibly release him, get answers. Important person would know.
Presumably.
Safe to rest here.
I mean, we haven't seen anything else alive except for the moss, right?
Nope. Literally nothing.
And Cristona seems to trust the moss.
Always
Yeah, I
respect
guess it would be.
elders.
Figured you would know if it was a problem, so. I mean, is that something we want to do? Rest and cast the spell to rescue this guy?
What time of day is it roughly?
You came down here early afternoon, 2, 3-ish.
Okay. So yeah, I mean it's been most of the day then. It'll be a early night, but then we can just get up super early in the morning, I guess. Continue on our cult
I
hunt.
mean,
once
resting
we
doesn't have
talk
to
this
mean
guy.
sleep. We can just relax.
Yeah, well, but it's gonna need to be a long rest for Cristona, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, at that point, you might as well sleep while you can.
Mm.
I'm sure adventurers like soldiers are used to that.
So it sounds like that's a yes. We're gonna rest.
All right.
Yep.
So you rest on this walkway in the middle of a ruined castle underground. It's still
When you put
very
it that way, it
quiet.
doesn't sound like nearly as clever an idea.
I will endeavor not to phrase anything I do like that ever again.
Stona's fine by this. It's dark and
Or wait,
Alex would say around.
are you referring to the idea of the castle itself or the idea of resting in it?
I think it's
The idea of
resting on the
resting.
walkway.
Yeah, no, I figured we were in some kind of room past the door.
Yeah, go back to the large double doors.
Yeah, for sure. You can just like go outside and pick a room to go
I feel
out
like we
of
should
the
rest just
castle.
like right at the doorway.
Sure. You rest in the doorway entering. The strange speech above the doorway glistening in what light remains as the soft glow from the doors bathes you in light as you sleep. Has anybody else touched the orb? Has anybody else taken the orb from Sadok?
No, not unless he passed it off.
No, that would be a bad idea.
Okay. Sadok, you continue to feel a sense of malice and hate from the orb.
You can go ahead and wrap a spare holy symbol around it too, in addition to the cloth.
Cool. It lessens when you do that. All right. So you sleep.
Early.
All right. So you awaken 8 hours later. What are you preparing?
Trying to dispel magic, and I'm actually going to prepare speak with plants too, just in case.
All right. So you prepare your stuff. Anybody else have anything specific they want to prepare or have ready?
Nothing apart from the usual.
Okay. All right. So you wanted to do something to the well dressed.
Yeah. So I was gonna go, like, kind of stare at him from the front and see if she can dispel this time bubble around him.
Roll your roll spellcasting. This is, as I'm sure you can guess, freezing people in time is slightly above third level.
Oh yeah.
So roll.
It's being super slow. Why are you so slow? I'm trying really hard. Come on.
Okay. Gives me more time to look at potential things that you can. Which is not meant
Fuck
to
up
be.
with this. Come on. See if that helps. See if that works. Come on. Damn it!
Yeah,
Hold
that's.
on. I'm gonna give you my inspiration for that.
Actually, I have
All right.
inspiration.
But
I have inspiration because I got it last time.
Never mind.
Yeah, remember, we're not keeping them across sessions now, guys.
Yeah,
Also,
but I
in
have
addition
it.
to the inspiration, add a D4 to it, because guidance can affect dispel magic rolls. Also, you're not technically supposed to be proficient in this check.
Oh. I thought it's
Are
like
you
a
not
spellcasting
proficient
ability.
in spellcasting ability checks?
Not unless it specifically says to.
Oh, what's the...
Yeah, no,
Let
it's
me...
your spellcasting ability modifier.
Oh.
Okay, well, that's good to know, actually, for the future.
Yeah,
Yeah,
otherwise
it makes
dispel
these
magic
look
checks tend to be really easy.
Yeah, it makes these checks a lot harder to make. Shit.
It's one of the upsides of being a bard.
Yeah. Alright. So that gives you an 11 plus roll your d4. Alas,
15 total.
15 is not enough to dispel this bubble.
Add bardic inspiration to that?
Oh, Bardic Inspiration. What's your Bardic Inspiration thing?
The D6.
Can you
Proceed.
apply that to ability checks?
Yeah, Bardic Inspiration applies to ability checks. It's basically
And saving
anything.
throw.
Whoa!
Anything you roll a d20 for, you can add bardic inspiration to.
So it would make it a 21.
That'll make it. By stacking every bonus you possibly can, you've managed to actually hit the DC. I'm genuinely impressed.
Holy shit.
And maxing out 2 of your rolls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That probably helps.
Yeah, thanks, Bauer. You really pitched in here.
All right.
She was inspired
Yeah.
by you trying to drink the city.
That's genuinely impressive, especially because you don't add proficiency to these, apparently. Okay. So, your Dispel Magic wavers for a moment, and then a quick prayer from Sadok and some inspiring words from Diggeroy. Excuse me. Give you the extra boost you need to tear through his time bubble. And
This is like a finale to
free-
Sailor Moon here. Just everyone gathering together and bring their powers.
Bauer sending good vibes to tear through his time bubble and free the well-dressed man from his prison. He looks smiling and then looks down at you all and
Looking back at him.
says something in a quick says something very quickly in a language that none of you understand. He looks confused, distressed. He's looking around very quickly at the palace around him.
So I was gonna lower her staff to not look threatening and kind of give the kind of what she's seen people do for the calm friends type gesture, like the hands forward, like not going to hurt you.
Also, talk in common. Can you understand us? Are you okay? That fails, move on to Dwarvish and then other languages.
What other languages do you know again? Remind.
I would probably just do Dwarvish and Celestial for now.
Okay.
Other people try their languages next. Before
I
moving
would
on
try
to
Aquan.
Infernal.
He picks up on Celestial, and replies back to you in shaky words. What's happened? Where am I?
Well, that's a good question. I think we were kind of hoping you could tell us.
This was Bukhari. My home.
It's still Bukhari.
Yeah, I'll translate for the rest of the party. And yes, this is still Bukhari. It is a ruins now.
Then our deal was kept.
Your deal?
Yes. Well, it succeeded, apparently. I made a deal with the Prince of Stories, with the Lord of Dreams. To take the city and make it live forever. As a story. I sold it to him. I suppose this is what's
Sold for a
Is it?
story.
Assuming
What?
translating.
What year is it?
Yeah, I'm translating. Fine. I'll tell him the year. Mention the name of the calendar we're using. That's not what he's used to.
Right. A long time. And Bakari is known. It is a place that people know of. Somewhere that will more than 1,000 years now. People still come here.
Yes.
Hunters.
But our stories are known. Legends of us.
What all legends did we know?
You heard a shit
Not
ton of them.
much.
You heard a shit ton of them in the bars in Catan.
Yeah.
It's like Bukhari is it's not it was not ever very subtle. Bukhari is basically like the 1001 Arabian Nights analog of Yualia.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody's heard stories derived from it. Like, everybody's a lot of people have seen Aladdin or Sinbad or stories like that.
Magic.
Yeah. They're all like derived from 1001 Arabian Nights. And this is roughly the equivalent.
Goodness, how many of them are true? How many of them are bad telephone?
I'm getting the impression that guy doesn't care.
It
What
was
was your end of the deal?
my city becomes immortal.
Right. But what did you do in exchange for that?
I gave it up. The physical city is no more. But as long as the stories of Bukhari still live, it's a hell of a lot longer than any empire, any city will last. $1,200 years ago, if your calendar's right, 1,200 years ago, I made that deal. If my city is still remembered, that's worth it.
What were you doing in this room specifically?
It's where the Dream King and I sealed the deal.
But then what is in the orb?
Oh, Ifrit, Jinn, demons, elementals, things that one of my predecessors saw fit to seal away. Things that hate humanity. Things that hate all mortals. And only grown to hate them more.
Worrying. Here because trying to get here before cultists may want it.
Well, that sounds like much more of a this age problem than mine, unfortunately.
Very much so.
He raises a hand from behind his back and shows that it's beginning to turn to dust and wither away.
Before he goes, ask Bauer to show him the bottle city. Ask him if he knows anything about that.
That's... Show it closer. That looks... That's my city. That's my bottle. From ages past. It's beautiful. He looks up, tears in his eyes. Thank you.
Do we know his name?
My full name is 20 names long or so. But I am Rashid. Harun al-Rashid. Former ruler of Bukhari. Thank you for giving me a last glimpse of my city as it was. Now, if you don't mind, I would very much like to go to my final rest. It's been a long time in that bubble. He closes his eyes and smiles as the rest of him withers and turns to dust. No!
I'm not gonna do it. I just think it would be hilarious.
I mean, he's turning into dust anyway. Just float down.
As the last of him settles to the floor, you hear a clanking. Clanking? You hear a metallic noise bouncing off the stone ground. Clanking. As his clothes and the rest of his dust settle down.
As in, the
Clanking?
clanking is from the items that he had on him, or as
Something
in
that he
from
had on him.
Okay,
Something that
okay.
he had on him, it sounds like.
Something not dust.
Yeah, I mean, check what items he dropped.
He dropped a
Sweet
heavy
katana.
gold. No, he did not. He's Middle Eastern. He didn't drop a sweet katana.
Scimitar, seriously.
Doesn't stop any other game.
Obviously, he dropped a sick beat.
Literally.
Wait, sorry, I think this is the wrong campaign. That would be the all bard campaign.
we'll get to the all bard campaign eventually. I promise.
A sick beat totally has to be something that like a boss drops after you kill it.
Is
You know-
Contagion on the Bard spell list?
I don't think Contagion is. Actually,
Yeah,
no.
magical
If it
secrets.
isn't, you could magical secrets for it.
Everything's on the bard spell list.
Force people to catch a sick beat.
Anyway, sorry. What
Yes.
was
Anyhow, he drops a very large golden key.
I got a golden ticket.
identify?
Well, that doesn't seem important at all. We should leave it.
It's in the old man dust. It's gross.
It's It's a magical key. It'll open any door or chest that you can find in Bukhari.
Is it single use?
Nope. Many uses that you want.
Awesome.
Last word should have been, I don't feel so good.
Basically, yes. It's the technical name for it is the Sultan's Key. It's his personal key to everywhere in the damn city. It also gives you a sense
Creepy.
of. It also gives you a sense of where the nearest of where treasure is located within the city that can still be gotten.
Ooh.
Sweet.
Does it give a sense of just the nearest treasure, or does it also give a sense of how good the treasure is?
It's just the nearest treasure.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I say we get out of here and use the key to find sweet treasure while continuing to look for the cult. I mean,
Okay.
this might be why they're here, but then again, it might not.
I concur.
Plus, we've still got a few days to burn before we meet back up with the sharks. Or the blades, whatever they were called.
Sharks.
Sharks. Hunting we go.
All right. So, underground, you find. Underground, you find surprisingly little. It seems like whoever this King of Dreams was, he took most of it with him when he took the actual city. But you do find, well, let's start with gold.
God.
All right. So, you find, in terms of gold, you find about 2,000 gold a piece within the city, within the downstairs. So
2,000 for
8,000
each of
gold
us.
total. Yes, 2,000 for each of you. 8,000 gold total. I'm going to trust that one of you guys is writing this down because I'm looking up my notes. So you also find some adamantine, unforged adamantine, which is on its own useless, but given to a sufficiently good smith, will double the damage dice of any weapon that you forge it into.
How much adamantine?
Enough for 2 weapons.
And would that also apply to a crossbow? Or would that require more wood and metal?
Probably more wood.
Okay.
Alas,
Would it apply, just for curiosity, if he decided to make bolts out of it?
yeah, it would apply.
to those when he get however many he gets.
They would in fact, they would be basically indestructible bolts. You'd always be able to recover them, but you would have to actually recover them.
Yeah, so we don't have to flee the fight or something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it might still be better for melee weapons for you guys. Unless you have magic weapons to use that are better than double damage dice.
I mean, my spear's good, but it's not that good.
Right.
Heavy for you and Bauer. I don't use metal.
Yeah. And I can forge it into like some basic weapons pretty easily. The hot hammer that I've got.
The hot hammer will not do it for forging adamantine.
Ah. Alright. Fair enough.
You will have to actually go find somebody to forge this for you, but it is it's pretty good stuff. It's quite good stuff. You also find a pair of you find a pair of dwarven hand crossbows. So they're marked. The arms of them are marked with runes. They look like they create their own bolts and draw themselves. And the bolts are black, and the tips look like a small black steel fist. So each bolt, if you test fire one, you find out that they explode on contact. So they deal an additional d4 damage.
Alright. I will take one of those.
Alrighty. Wait, you're only taking one of them.
I only need one. I don't dual wield.
Well, you have two.
I'm
case
sure
one
me or
breaks
Bauer
down.
could pocket it for a backup, yeah.
Yeah.
Alright.
Actually, Bauer, do you want it? For a backup weapon?
Get some distance.
It's hand crossbow. It shoots bolts with fists on them that explode when you hit somebody.
Again, pacifist.
I didn't even think about that, but you're right.
Not as good as the pasta fist, obviously, but still.
It's something. You also find a glass steel shield. So it's see-through, so it makes it easier to see enemy attacks and to block as needed. So it's an extra +1 to AC when you wield the shield. And I was kind of sorry.
I was just going to ask, what's the base? Is it just like a regular +1 shield, but glass?
It's technically non-magical.
I think Bauer can get more use out of it than I can.
Yeah, but I already have a +1 magic shield.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
it
I'll take it
says
then.
steel. I don't think I can use that.
It's glass steel. You can use it.
Okay.
So it's a glass like
You want-
steel?
Steel hard glass.
It's a bulletproof shield.
Bulletproof glass, the shield, yes.
I take that then if I can.
Go for it. Alright. That's all that you find in the bottom area here.
So is the Prince of Dreams a god?
Sounds more like some sort of djinn.
What is a djinn?
Genies, ifrits, marids.
Blink, blink, and blink. I doubt Kristona would know what the heck those are.
Powerful magical beings that tend to have a cruel sense of humor. For example, agreeing to make a city immortal by destroying it and making it live on in stories.
But he seemed to not mind the deal. Is that
Yeah,
cruel?
well, I mean, he may have been fine with it. I'm not sure the people of the city would have been fine with it.
Let me see. There is no one else to ask yet. Maybe the one in the front? Going back the way they came. The other guy that was frozen.
That's true.
Maybe. Assuming you can dispel it. We only barely did this one.
It is at least possible.
True. That'll mean you won't get a chance to talk to the elders, though, right?
Technically, I used my advantage from the inspiration, then we added that stuff, so I have 2 more spell slots left.
Oh, you have 3 third levels?
Yeah.
Cool. I thought you only had 2.
Oh, wait. No, sorry. Yeah, only 2.
So you're level 5. You should now have 3 third level.
For something
spells.
I realized I thought I had 3, but I guess that's another level.
Yeah, so you can talk to your elders, or you can make an attempt at freeing the guy.
It's just a moment and then a slight frown.
Up to you. I mean, if he's caught in the same sort of trap that this guy was, then it seems like freeing him's just gonna lead to him dying a few minutes later.
That is not a bad thing to us. Death is what should be unlike what he is now.
Fair enough. Can't argue with that.
But we would like to commune with those like us, ancients.
I have a feeling at some point someone's gonna free him.
The guy by the door?
Yeah, eventually. Could be another 1,000 years, but
Someday.
and at the moment he's not hurting anyone.
I mean, heck, you could drop some coin near where he is and leave it as essentially a bounty to whoever comes to free him, and tell some people back in Catan. If you wanted.
Remember that for people to get to him, you'd have to leave the glass bottle behind. The city bottle.
Unless there's another way in. Because there's all those portals we didn't explore. Other answer is we're not being rushed enough that we can't just chill for a day.
I still think we should go out and try to find the cult. But I mean, we can come back here at the end of the day, make this like our headquarters for a day or two, essentially.
Yeah. Or even just eventually get back here to deal with it.
Yeah.
Because there's no time pressure to deal with that guy.
Yeah.
Except for the time pressure on him.
Literally
Different kind of
squeezing
time
him.
pressure.
Literally. Literal time pressure on.
Enough
That sounds
pressure
like
and he turns into a
his era
diamond.
problem.
Question is there time to commune a bit, or do we want to deal with this first and then rest in here and do it later? So we can come back.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't think resting here like right away is worthwhile because I feel like we just got out of a rest. I feel like we
Yeah.
should do something more productive today.
The one third level slot left, so.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, if you want to talk to the elders, I mean, by all means, go ahead.
They'd want to do that, but if we're leaving, if the idea is to leave and come back, then they can wait.
Well,
Well,
we
the-
might not though. I mean, like we can try to save the guy, but I mean, it's gonna depend on what happens with the cultists, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, the point is we could put off the guy for months at a time
Yeah.
without it getting any worse. Whereas if we want to go after the cult now, I think now is the time to ask the elders questions.
Okay. I would just go over and cast Speak with Plants and just pass along as much information, get as you can from the fungus here.
Okay. You head over. You cast Speak with Plants. You getting close to the actual plants themselves, and it almost sounds like they're softly humming to each other. Did I just drop? Did you hear what I said?
Oh, a little bit of humming, yeah.
All
It was
right.
quiet.
Yeah, that's fine. The plants are just kind of humming to themselves.
Might join them a bit and puff some spores. If I get, she might do symbiotic entity and just awaken some spores and just all commune together and hum for a while.
All right. Once you start joining in, there's what sounds like some whispers going through the moss. Several little voices whisper, "Who are you?" Who are you? Who are you?
Our cousins from the below world, distant, much newer. We are the denizens of the Cristona. What do you call yourselves?
We are. We do not call, just are.
How long have you lived?
Long. And with long, they give you a sense of many, many cycles of spore growth.
We can only hope to continue such a legacy in our own home when we return. It was taken by corruption, the below world. Has any come through this place?
No. No corruption here. The old one protects. Here, we are safe.
Relieved of that and then a little confused.
What is the old one, if we can ask?
He comes in times of rest, tells of other colonies, other places, times, tells us that this place is his to protect, that he has made a deal with the walkers.
Prince of Dreams. we have heard of the deal. We are glad you are protected.
They fall silent and return to humming. As are we.
We are glad to know of the elders.
And just fall into silence and help him, like, add on to the humming for a little while, and then until the spell fades. Kind of commune. And then get up and go back to the others.
All right.
The elders will be safe from the rot here. They are protected by the Prince of Dreams, probably.
Well, that's good.
We can only hope for a colony that will last this long in the future if the rot is destroyed. We become elders and join the song. Pass a song. Far past the life of the Kristana. But there are other tasks now, yes?
Yep.
We are ready.
All right, let's go see if we can figure out what the cult was looking for.
All right. So you head back above ground, passing by the frozen fellow and heading to the surface. Once you get back up to the door on the mural, you find very quickly that there's just a button on the back of the door that lets you open it again. So you can push that. The mural grinds open and lets you back out into Bakari. A couple of adventurers or treasure hunters are about as you come back out. They look at you with wide eyes, and one of them asks, "What did you find down there? What is that? I've never even heard of something like that."
Just the usual stuff.
Kristona just hums a bit.
Oh, you guys are the worst. Just the worst. They immediately start poking at the mural's closed behind you guys, but they immediately start poking at the wall and poking at the pedestal and trying to figure out how to get in. So once you're above ground, the key does point you to a couple other bits of treasure once you're out. If you wanted to go check those out at all.
Might as well.
Yeah. Probably continue wandering east like we were before.
Right.
But yeah, finding treasure much more effectively this time.
Yes. So you find 3 more things, I guess. One of them, I'm just going to pop all the handouts for them. You find a doorknob, which I promise is much better than it sounds. And a pair of displacement boots and displacement anklets. They are all in the magic item section if they did not pop up for you. The simple answer is the doorknob is if you put it against a wall and twist it, any reasonably flat wall that is sufficiently thin, hinges will appear and the doorknob can be twisted and part of the wall will form a door large enough for a medium creature to pass through. The displacement anklets and boots basically allow you to pull off some shenanigans with your pull off some gravity shenanigans.
Gravity rush, go!
I will leave those for you guys to read and decide who gets them.
Damn.
I think
That looks fun.
Oh.
I do think we should have the anklets and the boots on the same person.
Yeah.
Yes.
That'd be so.
Question is
Can we
who?
share those?
So
you only find one set.
one thing, the anklets and the boots mention using the same attunement slot, but none of the items you've given to us so far explicitly say they require attunement. So,
Those should say that they use attunement. My bad.
but is it just those two? Nothing else we've been
Just
given
those
so far?
two.
Okay. I would like the doorknob, if nobody else wants it, or even if other people want it.
That's fine.
Doesn't change the fact that he wants. Yeah.
But yeah,
It's
I'll leave
cool,
the
but
boots
yeah.
and anklets to other people.
Oh, gravity rush.
Bear in
The
mind, you
trick with that is to run up the wall, get on the ceiling, and then drop down.
Yep.
Yes.
Want.
And...
Rolling for it, Bauer.
Oh, I'm in on this too, and I have more movement than you guys.
That's true.
I mean, shit, you guys, it's up to you guys who gets what cool stuff.
Do you only get one attack on the way down?
I'm gonna. You can take all the attacks from your attack action. I'm going to say that you only get to stack the fall damage thing. You only get to put the fall damage bonus onto one of them. If you have.
I don't consider that a big loss.
Yeah, so you'll only put it onto one of them, but it can be any one of the attacks that you make using that attack action. So if you miss your first one and you can still put the bonus onto your second one.
Right. I was just going to make the argument that it'd be more awesome. It did to more. It's understandable.
Yeah. Except that I don't really want to give you just like a free extra 3d6 on 4 attacks.
Aw.
Eventually, yeah.
Why not?
As much fun as that would be. That's a lot of damage. All right.
So who has acrobatics proficiency?
Yeah, that's the other thing. You do have to make an acrobatics check.
I have a plus
but-
4 to acrobatics.
+2.
I was.
I only have a
I'm
plus
gonna-
1, so.
I'm gonna maybe say that we should stop here.
That's fair.
We're getting a bit.
Are we decided on me getting the boots? Because I didn't get it. I didn't get the shield or anything else earlier either.
That's true.
Nor did I, but yeah, I think with the acrobatics check, it kind of makes it less beneficial for me to try.
Hmm.
So
just
I
have to
will
learn
pass.
Expeditious Retreat. That suddenly becomes really useful. All right.
Yeah.
Okay, I have noted those.
All right. Cool. Excellent. Yeah. So we're gonna end with you guys heading east across Bukhari, moving towards where the cult was last seen, and trying to and finding some last nice bits of treasure along the way. Yeah. Okay. I'm sorry. This whole thing was only meant to be like half the session. I didn't expect it to take so long.
Well, we did take 20 minutes to figure out that Bauer had the thing.
That probably didn't help.
You also took like 10 minutes inspecting the like frozen guy the first time around. You were very cautious, which I like to think I've taught you to do well. You
I mean, I lost an inch of my pole.
You gotta be careful about that inch. Your poor pole. Gonna put some ice on that.
Oh, yeah.
Your pole got circumcised by chronomancy.
Oh, dick jokes with your 10-foot extendable pole will never get old.
Nope. There's never phrasing.
You were going to get out on time, and then you decided you wanted to dispel magic on the old dude.
But it was an interesting story. We let him die. You can't put up like a really important guy all over the place and then show us to him. Or show him to us.
Chronomancy, man. I didn't think you'd hit a 21 to dispel.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Chronomancy is like, well, this shouldn't be hard to guess. Like non-standard magic. Like Aventine doesn't teach chronomancy, sort of thing. They think it's dangerous and don't teach it.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I mean, yeah, it kind of is.
yes,
The
exactly.
pole. Okay, it's difficult, but think I'm gonna give the inspiration to Bauer for trying to drink the city.
Why, thank you.
Yes, it is a very fine vintage of 1,200-year-old city. Very fine vintage. They were great cities back then. The best.
Or Who's in Whoville. And Bauer hears a Who. That's gonna be a thing now.
Yeah. Did anybody pick up the whole plot reference that is Bukhari now?
Well, we
It's
already kind
very
of
obvious.
1001 Arabian Nights, but
Yeah, but there's a more specific one. It's very obvious. If you're like familiar with the source material, it's very obvious. But
as no
Oh.
Shahrazad and
That they should be.
I've heard this before in a DC comic thing.
Xanadu.
probably.
Now you mention it, I know the comic you're referring to, but I don't think that's the.
Oh no, I doubt it.
Which one, Sandman?
Batman storyline.
Oh, no, definitely not that.
But it's one of the stories from 1001 Arabian Nights, right?
It's kind of the framing device.
Yeah, the story of
Like-
Shahrazad itself.
Yeah, Shahrazad
Yeah.
story.
Includes a city in a bottle?
No, but the city itself is like the framing, the setting for the stories of 1001
Oh.
Arabian.
Right. That's what I need to read. Currently doing The Journey to the West. I should do that next.
I need to read the rest of Magi just so I can get more of their take of Arabian Nights.
How is Journey to the West?
So the translation that I'm reading is like a complete translation. So there's a few parts of prose that I end up skipping mostly over because it's really boring. I mean, like, to give you an indication, the introduction is like 100 pages long. But it's actually, like, aside from a few like long pieces of prose, is actually pretty readable. I've heard it's more to the end that it starts to get really repetitive when they start getting to like the 81 trials. Because there's only but so many ways you can write, and then a nigh invulnerable monkey god fell from the air and beat up all the enemies.
Well, Dragon Ball lasted a while.
I was about
Well, I
to
mean,
ask.
Dragon Ball basically is the Journey to the West.
Yeah. It's really obvious in the original Dragon Ball series.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's extremely obvious in Dragon Ball.
Well, the character's name is Goku in the Japanese.
Yep.
But yeah, I would recommend it. The specific translation I've got is by Anthony Yu, which is apparently one of the better ones. A lot of the other ones just abridge large portions of it.
Okay.
Cool.
It's kind of expensive for the full set of books, though.
I'll look into it. I got Christmas coming up.
It's fair.
There you go.
True. Yeah. My horrible completely off topic. My horrible selfish motivation for having you guys go to all of these places, to all of these like old ass places with weird stuff going on, is because they're the ones with all the good treasure.
Well, I mean, yeah.
Just for future reference. These have all the good shit.
I mean, legendary places generally do. Except when they're all already taken.
Yeah. Oh, you'll find more legendary places. Probably sooner than later. You're going into the wild places. And that's there's all sorts of interesting things.
That's fair. Well, thank you. Good night, everybody.
Hi guys.
Yep.
Bye.
See ya.